Just one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in. I ain't going nowhere.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Reason Reborn, episode 48. Here, my co-host Cardiacsumo, who is wearing a Spider-Man. Good, you're wearing a Spider-Man shirt. That's good. Good, because of what we're going to be doing later. It keeps with the theme. How are you today, sir?
Feeling superior. I'm sure the Spider-Man fans will get that one. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm often wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
I know.
So, in fact, I actually tossed a couple that I used to have. So, I'm looking to buy more Spider-Man shirts.
I feel like I need to. I don't own a Spider-Man shirt, and I feel like I need to buy one now just because. In fact, I hope they make a Spider-Man shirt with this suit from the game. I'd buy the shit out of that.
That suit is sexy, so. But yeah, doing all right. Doing good.
Shame on you people who thought it was ugly when it first came out.
Doing good on this wonderful Tuesday. Checked out.
Tuesday. God damn. Like, for reference, me and you recorded, what, Thursday last week?
Yeah.
The fucking world exploded in a matter of like 4 days. Like, god damn.
Actually, it hasn't even been a week. You're right. That's unsettling. I will say I checked out. I'm not sure if I got to finish it because I was listening to it on the drive, but you guys should check out his point of view. Good stuff. Good conversation.
It was a gaming episode. A female was interested in learning about gaming, guys. They're out there. This proves it.
I don't know. I've never met her in person, so we don't technically know that she's real, right? Like
the unicorn.
Like what if she just like some sort of like video editing thing you do, and then you like do this voice, you know?
Oh, like yeah, I just do the voice, like yeah. It's just me just putting on a modulator.
I'm trying to spread this conspiracy theory about that you don't have. In fact, maybe I'm not a real person, and I'm just like another one of Magus's voices. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm trying to get this podcast channel to like skyrocket. I do what I gotta do.
You know how deep this conspiracy runs, bro? He has a voice that is trying to break his own conspiracy theory. That's crazy.
But no, you should check that episode out. It is really, really good. I think you guys would like it a lot. It was fun, like actually having a conversation with a woman who actually really wants to listen to me talk about that shit. Like, this is not normal.
Yeah, it was.
But that's why she
hear an explanation about gaming culture, because most of us are in the culture, so we don't really need an explanation.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting to see it. Somebody have to think through putting it into words for somebody not in the culture.
Yeah. No. Just a hint for you, another episode. I mean, we planned a few episodes ahead, but eventually we're actually going to get to Black nerd culture. And we're going to discuss, she wants to discuss why Black nerd males have a hard time finding Black female nerds. I don't know if you want to be on the episode or not, so you can voice your frustrations. And
the same reason people have a hard time finding Bigfoot. He's not real. It doesn't exist. Anyway.
Well, we're gonna delve into that. Okay, Katina gonna help out with that issue. Hopefully, we can shed some light.
I mean, sure. I am a younger generation of Black nerds. So.
Yeah. By the way, as we always go off on asides, why does Our Truth now have its own segment?
I don't know, but
they're doing Truth TV to start off SmackDown right now.
Yo,
and Carmella colored her hair.
Carmella
actually looks really good with that hair color.
What color is it?
It's like auburn burgundy.
That's like almost red.
Yeah, it's like it's like more like maybe more of a plum type red.
For you guys that don't know, hold up. I'm thinking she might need to get the belt back. Hold up. No, wait. Becky's already got the belt. Her hair is more red. Never mind.
I like to change the outfit too, because you didn't actually. She should wrestle in that. That's actually better attire than she normally is in.
You see what happens when you don't have that blonde hair anymore? God damn, look at this woman, man. Hold up. She's like a whole new person.
Yeah, I know, because I was like, wait, at the first when I first saw, I was like, who is R-Truth with? And it's like, oh shit, it's Carmella.
Bruh. I'm sure it's partially the outfit change, but come on, bro. The hair, like, it's just, never mind. Anyway.
Oh, it's the hair and the outfit.
It's just a much better overall.
Yeah, it does.
SmackDown is
killing. Getting much better run with this, I think. She's not that, like, you know, in that stereotypical Jersey girl, reality TV type mode.
She should have been looking like that when she had the belt. That would have been a much more credible champion look. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, she can't wear the heels, but yeah. Like wrestling boots in that with the outfit, because I love the cash thing. That's the thing. It's like the cash boots is working. She needs to get some cash wrestling boots. Anyway, we've gone on wrestling too long. Speaking of wrestling, because this is basically a battle royal of politics. I need to like bring him back before he drools all over his keyboard and has to replace it.
The tab is off. I'm just congratulating Carmella on her new look. Anyway.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah. Shit. Lots of politics. So let's just get the Rosenstein thing out. If you don't know, the Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein has been in quite a lot of trouble since it was exposed that he had had meetings in which he had discussed, which in his response was it wasn't necessarily being taken in all seriousness. Where he discussed things like taping Trump so he can evoke the 25th Amendment. Now, I am not completely clear on the 25th Amendment because it doesn't sound like... All right, so it's basically about impeachment, right?
I wouldn't say impeachment.
It allows the vice president to become the president in the event of death, resignation, or removal from office, or impairment that prevents the current president from fulfilling his duties. So I'm guessing that if this is true, that what Rosenstein was trying to pull was to show how crazy this guy is, because impairment could be mental health.
Sure. It might be arguable. I don't think they wrote it for that necessarily, but sure.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm trying to remember when was this written. I should know this. Who was that president that died? Well, this was written later. I mean, it should have been written then.
But I mean, there's been multiple cases like what if they have a stroke or something like that, or heart attack. You know.
Yeah, because we've had a couple of presidents that have died in office. In particular, I forget which Harrison it was. He died a week after his inauguration because he stood out. He was a dumbass and stood out in the pouring rain and did his inauguration speech with no protection. And then, of course, back then, William Harris. That's who it is. Yeah, his dumbass. Like, I'm sorry, that was the dumbest thing. I'm sorry. I can't. I know it's rude to call him dumb, but dude, no umbrella. Not even a hood.
He was a man. You don't do that.
Yeah, he was a man, all right. A man who died of like dysentery or whatever the fuck it was he got back then.
I mean, maybe they didn't know it made you sick back then. Maybe they still thought it was demons. I don't know.
Now, this is fun. It's only been used to fill vacancies. It's never been used to remove a president. But it can be used to remove a president if they find him unfit. And that's the or unable to fulfill his duties, which is part of the unfit part. So That's the interesting thing about that whole situation, because now it puts Rosenstein, who was the man who initiated the Mueller investigation. This is where it gets all crazy, because he pretty much hired Mueller to Mueller. Well, I say Mueller to investigate the Russia fiasco with the Trump administration. Now, a lot of people think that if he pulls Rosenstein or he fires Rosenstein, this will completely derail the Mueller investigation, as he will, of course, appoint who he wants to that position. And at that point, that person can pull the plug on it if he so chooses. It is a very dicey thing, though, because if you do that, that kind of helps with the covering my ass theory. But then we live in a country full of so many dumb people that probably doesn't matter, right?
Sure. I'm sorry, I'm just taken aback by this entire situation we're in here.
I'll just keep expounding as you go through the motions, because now I see Mislin came out, and now it's just going to get even extra.
Oh no, I'm talking about the political situation. Just like the fact that we're talking about trying to use this 25th Amendment to slide Trump on out of here and all this stuff. It's just not the place you want to be in as a country.
No, I've never would have thought that we would be in this place. I mean, I guess we kind of were in that place with Nixon, but Nixon did something. It was something that we were actually willing to go after. This is just a shit show because the powers that be don't want to go after him. They want to let him basically sit and run amok, while I don't know. It's crazy. Now, there were rumors on Monday also that Rosenstein had resigned, but then they said, no, he didn't. He actually just had a conversation with John Kelly, and now he's supposed to have a conversation with Donald Trump. How do you think that's going to go?
I don't see what the point of it. Can they please televise that conversation?
I would love to be in the room. I wish he would. If he's going to tape something, I hope he tapes that.
Oh my God. Isn't this going to be like a bunch of kicking and screaming? And then I guess the big question everybody's asking is, will he fire the guy? Which is a bit of a fraught situation because of the investigation he's currently under. That would look like, or maybe just be obstruction of justice there. So I just imagine Trump screaming a lot, but I don't know if his screaming gets to the point of you're fired, or if he's going to have the self-control to realize that that's kind of self-destructive. Or, I mean, maybe you could argue that it's something he should do. Like, maybe it's not very funny to be talking about recording the president, as far as... And
that's the thing. Is it a fireable offense? That's the one thing that's been rolling through my mind, is that this whole idea that he was thinking about doing this, do you think that's a fireable offense?
Yes. I don't know. I feel like I was joking about it a little bit before because, I mean, we're all kind of aware that we're dealing with a psycho as president. And I think some of us are probably willing to tolerate a little more unsavory tactics to get him out of there. But it does seem like a very extreme problem, the idea that somebody would be recording the president of the United States at any point without his or her knowledge. That's not good for national security, especially if you're not using secure technology. Maybe somebody else could end up getting a hold of those recordings. It's just not safe at all, security-wise. He argues, I think, that he was not being serious, so fine. But if he was, that does seem like it should be fireable. You should not be thinking about recording the president, even if it is a big Cheeto in an ugly suit.
But I mean, I'm sure this isn't a precedent of someone wanting to record or having actually record the president. To be quite honest.
Seems like they shouldn't. If they have, they shouldn't have. I guess.
But I mean, this is the thing. If they think that the president has been up to something, he's not absent of the law. That being said, this doesn't sound like that's what Rosenstein had in mind. He was just trying to set. It sounded like he was trying to set Trump up, and he seemed very like blasé about it. He was like, "Whatever, like, peace, people. It was a conversation we had. It was done in jest. You're making a big deal about it." Like, he never denied it. I'll give him credit with that. He never denied that he didn't say anything of that nature. Really, he just was like, "You're just making this big deal out of nothing."
If that is the case, then I guess the media would be to blame on that for blowing it out of proportion, if that's true. I mean, to be fair, it feels like the type of shit I would joke about, but I'm also not a good person. So.
Well, I mean, we don't know his sense of humor. I mean, and again, go back to the other people in the FBI, the two people who were working on the investigation, who made the whole jokes about Trump and all of that, while working on the Mueller investigation. Yeah.
Seems like you need some kind of sense of humor there. Again, if his sense of humor is like mine, I guess is why I'm saying that. Then I can see him saying it, because I just got like lectured a couple of weeks ago about threatening to murder a coworker, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's one of the things. Like, things get a little super sensitive in certain areas of the bit, which again I find weird. That's why I asked this if it's fire with friends, because I'm sorry. Look at all the things that have been said by this president himself, and we don't think this makes him incompetent to lead. Yet this one thing, oh my God, what the hell is R-Truth doing?
I don't know. I'm assuming he's being the man.
They're having a dance party in the ring, and the Miz looks like disheveled at this. Poor Miz. Anyway. But no, it's like I understand. Like, I'm always the person who say I understand why it should happen, but I don't always agree that it should happen. It would just really suck to see that he knocks out two key people who actually know what they're doing from the FBI, FBI and the Justice Department, because you already got McCabe gone, and now you're gonna get Rosenstein, and you got poor little Keebler Elf sitting there just trying to hold on with all his might.
I mean, I guess that's the concerning thing for me about it, is that we've all talked about the possibility of him getting rid of Rosenstein for a while now, but now he has a decent argument to do it. And I feel like if anybody says that they can't see that argument at all, then they're just not being reasonable. It is.
Yeah. No, it's a reasonable argument.
Unfortunately, we're now in this weird situation where he could present this reasonable argument to justify some unreasonable desires. Like, he could have bad motivations, but this argument would be sound that you can't have.
As justified as it may seem for him to do so, he did somewhat threaten the president, and that's not cool.
And even if he was joking, again, my sense of humor is like that, I would get it. But the point is, it would be at least a reasonable argument, unlike Trump just not liking him or something, So
yeah,
it's an unfortunate situation to suddenly be, because everybody talked about the possibility of him getting rid of Rosenstein, but we never took it seriously because he didn't have a good strategy to do it without getting in trouble. Seems like he might now have one. So there you go.
Fun times. I think that shit was wild, though. The Kavanaugh fiasco is just getting worse and worse as time goes on. So, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is just having an interesting scenario pop up where we may end up with a Supreme Court justice who, despite tons of information that dims a dark light on him, he'll still end up being the Supreme Court justice, with potentially raping 2 women, at least, I should say, a possible third, as Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, has hinted towards, is possibly coming out of the woodworks. A social reputation growing up that's all of a sudden becoming the highlight of his career. The funny thing is, this is stuff after he already had been exposed to like committing perjury to get jobs and having questionable court decisions on his record, as well as having reason for people to believe that this is a financial move for him because he's in dire financial states.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking about this earlier because I was listening to some news, maybe CNN or something, and they were talking about the way this ought to affect his hearing. And I was thinking, or they were talking about how this isn't a criminal, this isn't a trial. It's part of the hearing process or whatever. And I was like, when they said that, I just thought to myself, why are we even having this hearing anymore when we know, I mean, there's evidence that he lied under oath to Congress, right? So we should be having a conversation about him being removed from where he currently is, not getting this promotion or whatever. Like, this situation with those alleged sexual assaults shouldn't matter for the sake of the hearing, because outside of those issues, he shouldn't be having the hearing anymore. I'm sure some people like to say that she shouldn't have had the hearing in the first place because of the Merrick Garland thing, but practically speaking, right now, I don't see why we're even having this hearing when we know that he's lied to Congress before under oath. Yeah. He was under oath, right? Yeah. So
he did it to get a judge to become a judge. That's the funny part. Like, yo, you lied to a committee, become a judge. What's wrong with you?
It's just so weird that we're so focused on like, oh, we're gonna have this dude. It doesn't matter what he did to these women. He's still gonna be on the, confirmed. It's like, that's a shame, but for the sake of the hearing, what he did to those women shouldn't matter, because way before that, he should have been kicked out of this process just for that.
Right. It's like, okay, you want to make the argument that this is just a character assassination. Fine. Professionally speaking, he's already done enough to disqualify himself. So, this is kind of like, dirt on the grave in most normal situations. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But this isn't a normal situation because they have been really, really fighting this. Had the back and forth with if they're going to let Blasey Ford speak. If not, if she don't speak by a certain time, this and all that. I found it funny. I was watching an interview that someone tried to make a point that Senator Grassley was being as, complicit and extending all courtesy towards her as far as the whole, whether or not she can testify thing. And I'm like, wait, you mean the guy who told her once, if you don't testify about this date, we're going to ignore you, and then did it 2 more times? That's being complicit in, all of that? No, like, it's just a weird thing, but they're just rallying, and it gets worse because Kavanaugh is a horrible, like, how he practiced law, I don't know. Because, like, if he was a defense attorney of any kind, he would be horrible and you'd all be in jail. First, he comes up with denial. I never had that. That never happened. I never did that. Then his excuse was, well, it wasn't on my calendar, so clearly there was no party that I attended that day.
Yeah.
Do you schedule every party you go to?
Well,
every social event that you partaken in your life?
Let's be very clear. Nobody invites me to shit. All right, so my calendar is empty. But I mean, yeah, it seemed odd, especially for a teenager, that they would schedule every drunken escapade that they were going to have.
Yeah, especially since you're a teenager. Your parents would walk into your room and see that shit.
So that was one. Two, I mean, what day is he talking about? Because she doesn't remember what day it is. So what I remember is that she doesn't remember the specifics, like the location of the day. So what is he verifying exactly? Just that there was no such party ever on his calendar in life, or
yeah, I guess he doesn't attend parties unless he writes it down.
It's I don't know how you can say I have no record of this party when we don't know what party it is, unless you know, or it's like you're trying to tell me that it kind of makes it feel like you remember it better than she does.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, it's like you kind of acknowledge it may exist that way. And then he did the interview, which is even crazier on Fox News.
I would think the fact that he only shows up on Fox is in itself kind of a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like people who are in support of this madness, of course, never will acknowledge it. But it's like he only went to the one place that was going to be fair. Now, to be fair, the interview was said to be a little, a little hardcore for him because she didn't like just throw softballs up for him. She did put hard questions to him. But at the same time, I have to feel like going to the venue where the president of the United States has the biggest pool media-wise too, and you being his selection kind of makes it an easy interview in my mind because you're surrounded by people who aren't going to go but so far.
I mean, sure, but just overall, it's the further politicization. It's making the justice situation far more political than it needs to be. The fact that we're having a potential Supreme Court justice partake in this whole media bubble where if you're on the right, you go to Fox News, and if you're not, you'll go to the rest of them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fucking weird. It's like, okay, so you guys only go to one and everybody else goes to everything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when you want to feel comforted, if you're on the right, you go to Fox, and then there is the fake news. The rest. I hesitated to say that because I didn't want to make it sound like CNN or MSNBC and all that stuff. It's just like the left of news. Maybe in some ways it is, but I don't want to feed into this idea that there's just two different newses. No,
but that's the funny thing.
There's news, and then there's whatever Fox likes to do sometimes.
But that's the funny thing because like the Rosenstein thing got broke by the New York Times, the worst paper in the world according to Trump.
Sure.
Oh, it's just like, and they broke a lot of those different stories, but he just don't acknowledge it.
I mean, this idea that the news is just so biased is generally bullshit. I mean, they're human, so sometimes they fuck up a bit, but I mean, just the other day I had mentioned that what was it? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the way she was getting grilled.
Yeah, grilled
by Jake Tapper on CNN. So
yeah, was it Tapper or was it Cuomo? I forget which one it was.
I think it was Tapper.
But but no, they pushed her. It was like, yo, what the fuck? You don't know what you want to do? Like,
they grill people on the left. It's not like they don't give them these like Fox style interviews on the right. I don't see this idea that there's all this bias going around.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, but that's how he seems to feel.
Yeah. But apparently, I guess we'll see what happens. What, Thursday?
We'll see with the Rosenstein thing. We'll see with the testimony. I guess it was kind of smart though for him to go on Fox to get himself a like public interview out there beforehand. So when he fucks it up, because I feel like that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna fuck shit up. I can't imagine that this dude is going to like ace this thing. He's just gonna be like, I don't know what. I don't recall this. Oh, but I can't wait to see it though, because Kamala Harris is probably gonna fucking tear into his ass again. That was beautiful.
I got distracted because somebody sent me something. I don't know what it means. Everything is confusing.
It's a confusing time, sir.
I'm on Discord. I'm like in a private server or whatever.
I haven't used Discord in ages. I need to learn how to use that again.
I need to learn how to use it for the first time. But like, server's private, and I don't know how to invite a person. And like the admin sent me a thing, and I'm like, I don't even have that option because I'm not cool like you. So there's that. But yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a week for the country. Gonna see how this goes. I'm getting mad at this dude. He's like,
Who?
I mean, he sent me a screenshot of like how to get to the button, and it's not even the same server, right? So it's like,
you get a chance. I need to go do a little rewind of the R-Truth mismatch and see the move that he just did. I've never seen him do that before, but it looked good as shit. No, it was like a weird, like he was going up like he was about to do a suplex, and he just like spin the Miz around into like a cutter as he dropped in the air.
R-Truth is a talented young man.
Yeah, no, I've been said that he
Minus the young person.
WWE has fucked him every time he's gone to WWE. When he was in TNA, he was fine, but
SmackDown's killing it, man. Like, I always go back and watch their shows because they're killing it.
Yeah.
See, I feel like this guy thinks I'm crazy. Like, I do not have these fucking options. I'm not cool like you. God damn it.
All right. So a couple of smaller things, but big went down as well. So we had a former Trump employee who's an analyst. What's his name again? Let me pull it up. I remember I sent the pill boy. I'm gonna find it. Yep, that's Rosenstein being a jackass. There's Shinsuke being the man. Oh yeah, Coca-Cola is thinking about putting weed in their sodas. That's interesting.
Yeah, yes. So you know what Megas will be drinking every day?
Yeah, I've never had marijuana in my life. You know that? I've never tried it. I'm probably one of the few people on planet Earth who've never tried any drug that wasn't prescribed to me. Outside of pain pills and like cold medicine. I knew that.
I'm actually part of the wise guy thing. So like, I was able to go there and I see the button that says create instant invite, and I don't have that fucking option. I knew I wasn't crazy. Mess with me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will remedy that once I remember the password. Because I don't remember. I've been using.
No, yours works fine. It's this other server. Like, he's sending me this shit. Like, he's gonna fucking get it.
Yeah. Oh shit, Becky.
But yes. Sorry. Weed.
She's making him take pictures while she whips her ass. That's awesome.
Yo. Becky Lynch is a goddess. she just is. And it feeds her right because she's like, I'm the champion. I'm getting these pictures. I'm getting that work.
Posing.
And he's taking the pictures too. That's the crazy thing. Like he's too scared to not take those pictures.
That's awesome. All right, stop with their side. All right, so Jason Miller, who is a frequent analyst that's brought on CNN and other news outlets, was accused of doping a stripper, but not the way that you think. So apparently he had sex with this woman and had felt that he impregnated her. So in order to make sure that she does not have a baby of his, because he's married, of course, and should be sleeping with strippers, he snuck pills in her drink, the abortion pill, and walked away from the situation. No, what is wrong with you guys?
Yes,
like seriously, what is wrong with all these men?
I don't know if there's an epidemic of people putting forced abortion substances in people's drinks and shit, but one is too many. So
I totally agree. Speaking of people who put stuff in women's drinks, Bill Cosby was said it today, 3 to 10 years concurrently. They decided to be nice to him because they were going to actually do separate sentences, so he would have had 30 years max. But the judge's like, no, we just put them all together. So makes more sense because he's 81. He'd be lucky to survive this 3 to 10.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't care whether he dies in prison or whatever. But what do you think of that happening? Him getting that sentencing?
Hey, I mean, you're gonna drug women to fuck them. Yes, I know there's a lot of people are upset though because it's like, well, you know, and the narrative always comes out. It's like, well, you've given him his time. Why isn't Trump arrested and in jail? Why isn't Kavanaugh? It's like, okay, I get it, people, but don't excuse the fact that Bill Cosby did what he did. Okay,
I saw 2 reactions like that. There was one that was like, you know, when are we getting Harvey Weinstein or whatever?
That man is going to jail forever for his life. You know that, right? Like the trial just hasn't started yet, but that man's going to jail for life. That's
what people had to explain to them because I was like, the second I saw that, I'm like, you can't like put somebody in prison before trial.
Yeah,
and it was weird the number of people who had to explain to them that he hasn't been to trial. That's why.
In fact, to be fair, he is in jail, isn't he? Or he at least was put in jail. I don't know if he made bail or not.
I don't know where he is.
Yeah, he was actually arrested.
The point is, he's not like sentenced yet, and it's like, how could he be?
Yeah, like you have to have a trial first. This ain't, you know, just guilty.
And the second, I guess, related reaction was, you know, the same one we got when it first started happening was they're just trying to take down a powerful black man, essentially.
Yeah, because I saw that whole like NBC thing surface back up again and all of that.
Feels like a tired argument.
Especially since the dates are totally wrong in that NBC argument. People, y'all get everything like it's 10 years apart from the event of him trying to buy NBC and what the other thing that happened. I forget exactly what it was, but I know it's 10 years apart from this. But internet people, please calm down. Especially since you're defending a sex offender.
Well, they don't think he's a sex offender, so they still think that those white women are lying.
But it wasn't just white women.
I mean, I think there was some like psychologist or something that had said some shit, and they were like, "These are all white women." I'm like, what the fuck ever.
Yeah, get over it. The creator of Fat Albert is unfortunately.
I mean, 2 things can be true. He can have done decent things for black people and also touched up women.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like the world isn't as easily black and white as you guys want, but yeah. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, no, it's rare. Get over it. Bill Cosby did it.
Yep. Hashtag justice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that forced abortion thing, if that is legit, oh my god. I wonder what kind of prison. I probably won't get prison time. I don't know. It feels like it should.
Yeah, he would. He should. He would get prison time, at least personal prison.
What would the crime be?
Go to hell. No, I'm just saying he's just gonna go to hell. He's gonna go to hell.
Because I was thinking, it's like, I mean, there's probably some crime associated.
I mean,
with
maybe
like
because of statute of limitation. Because
what?
Statute of limitations is the thing. Maybe it's illegal abortion.
That would be a weird way to get it.
Without her consent, he kept, and maybe I don't know.
Is it illegal to force abort somebody else? It's just like such a weird crime. Like, I don't even know how to think about it legally.
Yeah, I know.
It feels like it should definitely be illegal, but I don't know like what you would call that crime. That would make sense. Because my first thought was like attempted murder, but like he wasn't trying to kill her. He was just trying to like get rid of that potential baby.
Right. And then with the baby thing, is like what constitutes a life. I would love for the Republicans to argue that it's a life from the beginning in this case, whereas, you know what I mean? Like, gee, are you going to do it here? Like, or are you just going to be the hypocrites that you usually are?
You know they're not touching that fucking thing with a 10-foot pole. They're not discussing this situation.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Was that all the major stuff?
What was the other thing that came out? Ted Cruz getting his ass kicked all week.
Going up.
Yeah, that Beto O'Rourke is the white Obama. If only he would have gotten the Senate earlier, he might run for 2020.
It's interesting, because they had that debate, and I noticed soon after that there was videos with titles like "Beto obliterates Cruz," and then I saw on the other side there were the same debate, same videos that said Cruz destroys Beto on things like gun control law or whatever.
The funny thing is, Cruz put up a video. Damn, what was the subject that he was like saying? He put up a video saying this is Beto O'Rourke, and it was a portion of a speech at a rally that O'Rourke was giving, and the things that he was saying were making sense, and people were like, "Why is this supposed to make him look bad? You're advertising for him with this video." Because he's making valid points in it.
Yeah, it's weird. But I guess there's reason to that point. Like, people see what they want to see. Again, I saw completely different headlines on the same videos almost. Or at least different portions of the same debates. It's weird.
Yeah, and then he got ran out of a restaurant, which I'm not in approval of. Protesters were harassing him and his wife while they were having dinner. And they got so raucous that he and his wife left the restaurant.
So you're dealing with a political right that loves to dwell in victimization. They feel like victims, and you're just kind of like giving them more and more opportunities to do that. This is the kind of stuff they love to show their base to rile them up. Like, see, we're conservatives. We're getting bullied by these liberal mainstream media assholes.
Yeah,
it's a stupid strategy.
There's also the weird tweet that's going around as viral of him, a picture of him looking on his phone at Beto O'Rourke's Twitter.
Is it real?
Yeah, it's real. There's a picture of him looking at pictures of Beto O'Rourke on Twitter or Instagram or something, like reading what he's up to.
He's spying on this guy.
Yeah, some people have been making jokes like, oh, he's trying to learn how to be a better politician.
He's probably just checking him out. He's a handsome guy.
I mean, that Beto O'Rourke is like cutting a dashing figure. Like, seriously, I don't know if 2 years in the Senate would be enough, but he does enough in the Senate. He might be a presidential nominee of 2020. Like, he is like an attractive candidate.
Shit. Well, we'll see how that goes. He is trying to do his thing in Texas, but it's not like people have an easy time there.
Yeah, if he beats Ted Cruz. That's monumental.
Yeah, it would be a very big deal. Good luck to both candidates, I guess. I'm not in the state. I don't have a direct dog in that fight, but it is really weird to watch them like both be on stage. Like Ted Cruz makes weird faces. He needs more face control. Like just chill, dog. Like stop making these faces. Relax. They're making you come off like some kind of vampire or something. Just chill.
Yeah.
Look stoic. Strong.
Yo, these New Day fuckers. I swear. But yeah, no, he just looks. He's awkward. He's a very awkward candidate, and he's going up against. It's funny because it just made me think. It's kind of like watching the JFK Richard Nixon debates. Like, have you ever heard of those or seen any of those?
I've not seen them.
Yeah, because I remember I was in a class way back in the day, and they were showing us footage of it because they were talking about it. How, this was back when image started to play a lot because color TV had just started to come about, and this was one of the first debates in color and all of that, I think. And this is when they started like doing, okay, let's get everybody to look good, and it's like you had the picture of JFK who looked calm, cool, tanned, well dressed, handsome, just looking presidential. And then you had Nixon, who I think they said he actually had been sick before the debate, but he was literally on TV like sweating, looking like drained. The dour face that he usually has looking even worse. And they were like, this is one of those like that was one of the key moments that propelled Kennedy, because it's like, the way you represent yourself on stage, not just verbally, but visually too, kind of can help. And put O'Rourke next to Cruz, and it's just like, this guy Cruz looks like he's shifty. Like you say, he makes these weird facial expressions. He makes these awkward comments. And then you got, O'Rourke, who's, he's like clean cut, very articulate, and passionate about what he does. And, doesn't change. He's like Obama did. He doesn't change his game for you. You don't see him get flustered. He's cool under pressure. People respect that and like that.
Sure.
If Ted Cruz wins this election, we know that like Texas is just a hellhole that needs to just go away. Seriously.
I mean, after that Roy Moore thing, I guess anything's possible. At least I don't know that Ted Cruz is like ogling little girls or whatever.
No, at least he doesn't have that. He's just eating food with guns, like cooking bacon on guns. What the fuck? That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. He actually cooked bacon on a gun he fired and then ate it.
That's why I say they have like obsession with guns to the point of being like half religious, half sexual. Like they just find a way. Like if they could, they would just like put toothpaste on a bunch of bullets and like shoot them across their teeth or something. Just like graze the teeth with little toothpaste bullets. I mean, fucking Christ. I'm not shitting on people if you like guns. They're cool, I guess. But there's a point where a hobby becomes like a weird obsession, right? And I feel like
it is.
That's that line. And the thing is, you guys just don't want people to call you out on when your hobby got to be too much. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Like when I was in high school and I liked anime's cool. But when people started like running like the ninjas in Naruto, I was like, it's probably enough. You could
Wait, what?
I don't know if you ever watched Naruto.
I mean, I've seen some. Not even watching in detail, but I've seen stuff and clips and all. But I'm confused. Running like him?
So like when the
Legit?
ninjas run, like their arms are like back or whatever.
That's what I thought you were talking about, like the ninja dash, like you see in Ninja Gaiden sometimes.
Yeah. I saw a couple people at the time when Naruto was getting hot doing that, and they were generally considered the weird kids anyway. But like yeah, that's probably the point where the fandom got a little too far.
Okay. When they were doing this run, were they like running to regular places, or were they just?
We were at school.
As a
they were running to class.
So when they read the class, they would fucking.
Not like all the time, but like enough that I was like, yeah, that's fucking. I don't remember his name now. I want to say Tyler, but. Yeah. Again, it's not that these things are inherently bad. It's that your level of fandom can get out of control. That's all I'm saying. You don't need to cook bacon on your fucking gun. That's it. That feels reasonable. Unless I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe that's not reasonable. Maybe we should all jerk off with our guns and run like Naruto. Fuck it.
Yeah, no. I'm just imagining some kid with his book bag, like a book. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That image really messed you up.
Yeah, because it's like I understand like deep fandom for some things, but god damn it. Did they have the headband too?
I don't remember if he had it, but I did know a couple of people who had it.
Oh god. It's like walking around school. Okay.
Well,
did the hand thing too?
I think they were allowed to wear it at school, but like they owned it. I don't think they did the hand thing, but
oh my god! If they just they're talking to you like doing the hands. All right, sir. Enough's enough.
Fireball jutsu.
That's funny. Okay. So that's pretty much the major thing. So we're looking out for some major news. Oh, can't be remiss without talking about the world laughing at us literally today. So Donald Trump spoke in front of the UN today, and they were talking about how he's going to lay down the law and all of this stuff. And he starts out with a usual lie, where he goes how the United States over the last almost 2 years has done more for the world than any other administration has ever done. Almost any administration ever done, his administration. And that got a chuckle out of somebody, which caused them to pause. And you could hear voices talk, and then you hear a laugh, not a chuckle, a literal laugh by what sound like I won't say a large group, but a good enough group within the UN chamber to say that you could hear it, which seemed to like knock Trump off kilter because, like he said, he wasn't expecting that reaction. But okay, like what else did you expect, you clown? Like you lie, and like people aren't taking your shit no more, especially around the world. And he doesn't seem to realize that.
I mean, that's the thing. Like he's always doing these like rallies in front of pretty much the small portion of Americans that he's convinced he's not a lunatic. You know, the ones that are going to follow him no matter what is usually the people he's talking to and in front of. So I don't think he understands that most of the earth thinks he's a moron and knows that he's a liar. Granted, I'm not certain he knows he's a liar. He might believe a lot of this stuff, actually, but yeah, I think he's just used to being able to say that shit. And because he's kind of created this bubble, just getting a positive reaction. Like when you see him on videos, do you see him getting booed a lot? No, because he's talking in front of his people.
Yeah. And once he gets in the space where these people aren't with his bullshit, he sounds like an idiot. And some of the things he said were crazy because I pulled up like a couple of excerpts, like the comment about America will always choose independence and cooperation over global government's control and domination. We will never surrender America's sovereignty to an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy. America is governed by Americans. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism. Sir, no.
Those aren't like mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You can have sovereignty within one's borders and still be part. It's like if I join a club, like I'm still in control of what happens in my fucking house, but like I agree to follow the club's rules to be part of the club.
Yeah.
And it feels like one of those weird populist isolationist motherfuckers in his camp probably just wrote that for him. Because I feel like he has a strong enough ideology to say things that precise.
I like this line. We are taking a hard look at U.S. foreign assistance, whether the countries who receive our dollars and protections also have our interests at heart. Moving forward, we are only going to give foreign aid to those who respect us and, frankly, are our friends. What that mean? You want them to kiss the ring? Are you fucking Tony Soprano? I mean, or The Godfather?
I mean, essentially, yes, he is. Like that's at least that's what he wants to be. Like I can't remember the exact line, but he said essentially that, you know, we give and give to all these people and they don't give anything back to us. And I just thought this guy didn't learn like the basic bits of morality you should have learned when you were a kid. You know, like when a kid gives somebody like a present and then they get all mad that they didn't get something back and you have to explain that you're not supposed to like necessarily expect things back in that same way. It feels like he doesn't get that basic kind of thing. I mean, that said, we do get stuff back from them, like having a world that is not in the middle of chaos and war. I think it's good for our country that Europe isn't a bloody shithole that's going to split over onto us. I feel like we want that. See, I don't know. He just has such an oversimplified view of the way the world works and our place in it.
Yeah, no. It's so fucking weird to be now in a time like after years of even people like Bush, both Bushes, you know, even you could say Reagan have established like better relationships with foreign powers. Like, you know, the strength of NATO was built over decades, and this guy has started to tear it the fuck apart. And it wasn't just Democrats that did this. This was Republicans. This was people who, you know, say what you will about whatever their policies are, understood that our existence in the world changed after the world wars. And that's why these organizations were created to make it a more global approach to the way things go. It's not, it's clearly he has no idea of history or policy at all with this type of speech. It was like, and it deserved to be laughed at. And it's sad because it's being laughed at. It's being laughed at with the underlying thought of, well, good luck with that. And the fact is, the good luck with that part affects us all in this country. Just like his doubling down on the thing with China and adding even more stuff. It's like a friend of mine. A friend of mine. He works in fashion design, and a lot of textiles come from China. He can't develop stuff like he used to because he's like, I can't afford to import that shit. I need that shit. But I can't afford it because that shit costs way too much. Now,
yeah, a situation that didn't need to exist, of course. But there we are. As far as not understand, he seems to not understand that this idea of a more unified world is something we want. It's not. We didn't fall ass backwards into it. We worked very hard to make it happen. America, in particular, has worked very hard to make that more and more of a reality, because that type of thing is what helps stop world wars, or even just interstate wars in general. That's why we have increasingly less of them, because we work to limit them. As shitty as people think the world is, we do have less interstate wars.
Yeah.
Because of efforts like this. So for him to go to the UN and say shit like this is just unbearably stupid. And that's why they laugh. Because he's unbearably stupid. And you either laugh or you cry.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing. And the funny fact is, the two countries that he seems to want to work the most with are the two countries that nobody wants to, because everybody knows that these countries are probably the two biggest threats to world peace and cohesion, which is North Korea and Russia.
It's weird. He's a fucking weirdo. He's fucking weird. I don't understand it. Because I feel like even the people who say, we're America only, fuck the rest of the world, I don't feel like they are on board with dealing with Korea and Russia. So I don't know why he has these feelings. He's not getting it from his puppet masters. He seems to have these feelings.
Yeah.
In spite of everybody else around him. It's odd. I don't remember if it was the anonymous op-ed or if it was in that book. I haven't checked it out yet, though I've been meaning to, come to think of it. But I remember somebody mentioning something from one of those things that said, essentially they would try to explain something to him. They would sit him down and try to explain, and then he would be like, nope, that's not the way I see it, blah, blah, blah. And he just completely ignored it. I watched this and I'm like, yeah, that has to be it, because there's no way 2 years later he could still be talking like this and nobody explained to him the way the fucking world works. He just doesn't listen at this point. There's no way.
Yeah. Fucking idiot. Shit.
Let's see. People are shitty.
Yeah.
They're never online when I need them. But
it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. This is going to be a wild fucking rest of the week. 2 days, we got the hearing. We also got Rosenstein, which is kind of weird timing. On the same day, Rosenstein could lose his job officially. And we have the Kavanaugh hearing.
Again, I say we shouldn't even be having.
Yeah. So we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I guess for a little bit of positivity, we're getting another round of the Mae Young Classic. Well, we're still in the first round.
Oh, yes.
Another episode.
It is the last first round matches. You can see Io.
Miss Shirai's going to tear that
Io makes her WWE debut.
So that's just a little positivity sprinkled in there.
Yeah. I know. Also, good to see what the Velveteen Dream does again, because we love Velveteen Dream. I love that he's not been really wrestling. He's just been doing these interviews. Because it's a fucking great promo. Man, it's awesome.
Oh my god. You have the Velveteen Dream here and you want to ask about Aleister Black and he just walks off.
Right. great. Oh man.
That was for president.
So yes, there's sunshine in life, people. Watch NXT, watch the Mae Young Classic, watch SmackDown, play Spider-Man.
Do it. Ugh.
Yeah. There are things.
Was that not you transitioning into Spider-Man talk?
Huh? Well, no, because I'm actually going to stop the recording. We're doing a separate whole thing for Spider-Man. I'm going to stop this. This is not Spider-Man deserves his own platform. Okay, people.
Untainted by the rest of the darkness.
Exactly. So if you've watched this podcast to the end, one, we thank you, appreciate it. Happy that you are, supporting us in that way. But now we're gonna cut this one as a short one. This is only gonna be like about an hour and a half, hour and 15-minute one, because we got a lot of Spider-Man to talk about on the spoiler cast. So if you like video games, like Spider-Man, no, even if you don't like Spider-Man, I implore you, you don't have to like video games either. You need to watch this. This is gonna make you like video games and Spider-Man all at the same time. So we are going to have a spoiler cast that is going to be coming. Yes. Time to start talking about this shit, because I got shit to like expound about. That game's fucking great. And I'm going to play it some more tonight now that I'm done with meeting shit for school, because I want to mop up some stuff. I probably won't 100% it, but I feel like I should at least hit some of the stuff I skipped to beat it. Yeah. All right. So before we go, any suggestions, sir? This week, books, movies.
What? No. What? No. Okay. It's not a good week. No. There's lots of stuff going on in the news. All right. It's a dark week. It's not time to read. It's time to hold your loved ones and wait for the world to end. All right.
Yeah. My suggestion is, if you're religious, pray. If you're not, drink. Even if you are religious or not, do both. If you want to, whatever you need to do. Drinking's probably the more, plausible thing, because I don't know if we're not fucked enough that praying's going to help. But I mean, yeah, can't hurt. Make sure you provision yourself for the Holocaust. We have no vault, so it's not like Fallout. So create your own vault. Just ride out the bad part, and then hopefully when you come out, you don't have a toxic wasteland that you got to go through, Book of Eli, and just try not to murder everybody that comes across your way. Okay. All right. So, thank you again.
Getting all the darkness out now.
Yes, we are, because we're about to have fun. But thank you guys for watching The Reason Reborn. Again, we appreciate you. Check out all our links and social media down below. Check out my boy Jabari's Urban Fresh clothing line. He's actually coming out with a new clothing line soon. So check that site. It's in the description. And thank you to him for supporting us. He's working on our logos, so that should be coming soon. That should be cool as hell. But yeah. All right, everybody. We're out of here. Have a good one.